I know. You're probably saying to yourself, oh god, please not another one of these goddamn One Piece fans that tries to tell me how incredible this fucking show is. I don't care, it's way too long and the art style looks way too goofy. I don't want to hear it from someone who probably watched this shit from the start and doesn't care about the length that way. If you're thinking that and haven't clicked off yet, good, because I am the same as you. Or should I say, I was the same. Because despite all of the doubts I had about starting One Piece, I still did. And now I can safely say, those doubts are the dumbest, stupidest excuses for not experiencing this incredible story for yourself. Let's start at the beginning. One Piece is a story about, well, the One Piece. Yes, believe it or not, and by the way, it's also real! Hey, am I right, guys? Hey. The One Piece is a legendary treasure hidden somewhere on the ocean by the equally legendary pirate king Gold Roger. Pirates all around the world are trying to find it, and our main character Luffy is one of them. The story started in 1997 and it's the best-selling manga of all time, so if you somehow by now still don't know what the show's about, then I'm really sorry to hear that you're living on a rock, and I don't know how you're watching this video without having access to internet. But okay, if you really somehow don't know what the show is about and still want to hear the basic summary of the story, here you go. And there you have it, that's One Piece. So now that that's out of the way, I can finally begin telling you why you really should watch or read One Piece. I'll try to explain everything spoiler free, but if you're really picky about spoilers, then maybe just click off this video now and watch the fucking show! First things first, the length. The length of One Piece is a good thing. I know, let me cook here, okay? Can you name me one thing that you do when you're coming home after work or when you came home after school when you were younger? One thing you're always doing to get comfort, to make you feel like it's always there when you need it, and to make you feel like you can just tune off from everything else for this one moment of the day. Like a little tradition you have for yourself. Well, for me, when I was growing up, it was watching my favorite shows and anime on TV after school. And these long-running shows had exactly this advantage to them. They were always there. They can grow with you, get old with you, make you comfortable, and they have all the time they need to get you connected to their characters and story. And One Piece does this to a degree few others can ever dream of doing. Every single character and member of the main crew feels unique and is lovable in its own way, and over the time you only feel like you get to know them better and better. Zoro, for example, is a badass, strong-willed and cool, but he also gets lost all the time and is oftentimes a bit of an idiot. Usopp is a big coward and tries to lie his way out of situations more often than not, but he's also very passionate and can find the courage to overcome his fears through that. Luffy is probably one of the best written shonen protagonists I know. He's completely determined to get to his goal of becoming the Pirate King, and nothing will get in his way of achieving that. However, on his way to that goal, he gets beat down, encounters wall after wall, and sometimes has to painfully realize that he is too weak. He needs to learn what it means to be a captain of a pirate crew and what it means to have that responsibility. And he eventually does, but it takes him time to get there. I could honestly talk about every crew member for hours like this, but there are enough videos about that on the internet. More importantly is, I haven't even talked about the side characters yet. Would you believe me if I said this guy is a well-written character? Well, regardless of what you said, he is. There are so many good side characters in this show, I can't even count them. The antagonists as well. Damn, they are good. Almost every villain has some way of importance to the character and or the main story and helps them progress and develop. They have great motives, good dialogue, and are written very consistently. Obviously, many of the characters are a bunch of goofballs and act like characters in a shonen manga, but they are written so consistently that everything they are doing is completely believable to the point where you feel like you are a part of this world. Because you know them. You know them like they are real persons. And this is all possible due to the length of the story. Oda has the time to show these characters happy, goofy, angry, sad, and sometimes outright broken. He has the time to make these characters grow with you. And what helps with that is my next point. The art style. Yes, the second gripe that you probably use as an excuse for not watching or reading One Piece is also one of its strong points. Crazy, right? No, since the way Oda illustrates is actually genius. Yes, he uses shapes and forms for his characters that normally would look off or over the top, but he uses them in such amazing ways that makes it all feel very dynamic. It's so easy for the eye to follow the panels in the fight scenes because of the way the characters' shapes allow them to flow along the pages. Outside of the fights, the manga can fall a bit into what I call the speech bubble overload problem, but that's why you have the anime if you don't want that. Heck, the anime has recently shown some of the best animation quality out there right now. These inordinate shapes in which the characters are designed are giving them life. You can so easily recognize them just by their outline alone, which only adds to that sense of really feeling like you know them. Oda also uses his exaggerated art style to convey his emotions. Yes, on the surface, it looks hella goofy to draw a character like this, but you can absolutely see the suffering this character goes through on this panel. You feel like you know these characters because you've seen the very extent and extreme of all of their emotions on display. And they undergo all of these emotions while going on a journey through this breathtaking world that Oda has created. The world building. If you ever heard someone talk about One Piece, I'm sure you heard them talk about the world building. Since the world building of One Piece is also one of the best I know in all kinds of media, rivaling even works like Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones in my humble opinion. It has a way of making even the most outlandish islands make sense and create a feeling of realism I never thought I would get from something that looks like this. The weather, the inhabitants, the wildlife, sometimes even the food that's eaten on an island. It is all there to discover and learn about. And that's all thanks to how detailed Oda can describe these places, which is again only possible due to the length of the story. You can probably even Google about a piece of cloth someone is wearing in a show and still find something about it on the internet. That's how detailed this world building is. And despite all of this world building, it still doesn't distract or take away from the story or the fights. Speaking of which, I've made all of these points about what makes One Piece so great, and I still haven't even talked about the story yet. Surely the length comes in as a negative here, right? Right? No. Again, you couldn't guess that? A lot of long-running shows have the problem of eventually decreasing in quality or consistency. Either because the author is running out of ideas, or the show gets completely milked dry and is dragged onto oblivion, or just simply because the story has been going on for so long that the author can't maintain herself enough for it to keep it consistent. However, One Piece for some reason does not fall into any of these categories. Throughout its now 25-year-long lifespan, it only got better and better, with the recent anime arc being at the peak One Piece has ever been. But that doesn't mean the earlier arcs are bad or boring. In fact, some of the early ones are the most beloved arcs the show has to offer. Each one has its own story, which you can probably honestly even enjoy on its own, even if you haven't seen or read any of the rest of the show. They have their own happy and tragic moments, hype fights and hype moments, some of them again being my favorite in all of anime. Oh, and by the way, quick side note, One Piece is also fucking funny. Like, the amount of times I actually laughed out loud from this like a dumbass, even when I'm just reading the manga, is pretty impressive. Of course, for anime watchers, the music and the voice acting only enhances the experience further. I will never forget the walk to Arlong Park with Overtaking playing along with it, or when the crew goes to save Robin from Enies Lobby. All of these moments only add to the incredible experience that is each arc, and every character grows stronger physically and emotionally from these journeys. And at the end of every arc, we always get that small sneak peek or sprinkler of story progression that builds up the overarching narrative, making it so interesting to follow even after all those chapters or episodes. There is a reason why this series is so beloved now as it was 10 or 20 years ago. There is a reason why so many content creators make videos or other stuff about it in recent years. And I think if not made clear enough already by the points I mentioned in this video, it's that this is a story everyone can enjoy and love. It's that this is a journey everyone can grow along with, and it's that this is a masterpiece that everyone has to experience for themselves right at this moment. Sure, you can make excuses and say that you don't have the time or something else for a little bit longer, But the reason why so many people are starting with One Piece now is maybe you can't make excuses for that long anymore. Maybe you can't make memes about your grandkids telling you on your deathbed what the One Piece is for much longer, because this story is going to end eventually. And judging on where we are in the story right now, it's not that far in the future where we might finally know what the mysterious, long-awaited One Piece really is. And with that, it's going to be the end of an era that has been going on for decades, and an era that undeniably will be remembered by everyone. Do you really just want to let that slip by, or do you want to come aboard this incredible ride of a story that is held dear to the hearts of so many people? That is your choice. And the most insane thing is that I made this whole video with being only halfway done with this manga. Hi, Lumi here, coming in just to say I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button and click the bell so you don't miss out on my future videos.